Why is there always an Asian kid better than you? Better at math, better at piano, better at exams, and somehow also better at that one random skill like solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded, while remembering your birthday when you forgot it yourself. It almost feels like a universal law. But this is not about genetics, luck, or some hidden advantage. Research consistently shows that performance differences are shaped far more by environment, habits, and culture than anything else. So instead of asking who is better, the more useful question becomes what systems create people who become better? This is not about glorifying one group or stereotyping millions of individuals. It is about understanding patterns in parenting, learning systems, and discipline, and extracting lessons that anyone can apply. In many Asian societies, there is a deep-rooted belief that achievement is not optional. It reflects the family. Success is not just personal, and failure is not just individual. It becomes shared. Those alone changes how effort is approached. Where some cultures emphasize finding passion first, many Asian households emphasize building discipline first. Passion may come later, but skill is expected to come through effort. This shift creates a mindset where action is not dependent on mood. Work happens because it is supposed to happen. Strict parenting often comes into the conversation here. High expectations, structured routines, and constant monitoring are commonly associated with what people call tiger parenting. Students in these environments often spend more time studying, but the real difference is not just time, it is structure. Homework is not optional. Practice is scheduled rather than based on motivation, and effort is expected rather than negotiated. Over time, this builds consistency without relying on motivation. At the same time, it is important to acknowledge that overly harsh parenting can have downsides if it is not balanced with emotional support. The lesson here is not to become strict, but to recognize that structure works when paired with stability and encouragement. The learning method itself is another key difference. Many high-performing students do not just study harder, they study differently. Instead of passively reading, they actively engage by testing themselves, teaching others, and breaking concepts into smaller parts. Instead of cramming at the last minute, they rely on consistency through daily repetition. Instead of waiting to feel motivated, they act first and let motivation follow. Goals are broken down into manageable daily and weekly tasks. Over time, this builds persistence and long-term focus, often referred to as grit. And grit, more often than not, outperforms raw intelligence. In Japan, discipline is not just a method, it is part of identity. Students clean their own classrooms, follow structured routines, and repeat skills for long periods without seeking shortcuts. This reflects a deeper philosophy that mastery comes from repetition and continuous improvement. Small daily progress matters more than sudden breakthroughs. Practicing something every day, even when it feels boring, becomes normal, especially when it feels boring. In China, there is a long-standing belief that effort can outperform natural ability. Education is seen not only as a path to success, but as a responsibility. The system is competitive, but what stands out is how habits are built. Students learn to manage time strictly, minimize distractions, and focus deeply. Discipline becomes automatic, like a routine that does not require constant decision-making. It is no longer about whether to study, it is simply what is done. India introduces another dimension through intense competition. With large populations and limited opportunities, academic success becomes a pathway to stability. This creates resilience. Students preparing for major exams often spend years practicing, solving thousands of problems, and building endurance. The focus shifts from being naturally talented to being able to stay consistent longer than others. It becomes a test of persistence as much as knowledge. The idea of the Asian kid is often exaggerated. Not every student fits this image. Many struggle, many fail, and many experience burnout. The stereotype exists because of visible patterns, but it does not define individuals. The perception of someone being naturally better overlooks the systems behind their progress. It is not magic. It is repetition, structure, expectation, and habit combined over time. What matters is what can be learned from this. You do not need strict parents or extreme pressure. You need systems. Replace motivation with routine. Start at the same time each day instead of waiting to feel ready. Study actively by testing yourself and engaging with the material. Break down large goals into small, manageable tasks. Accept boredom as part of the process because skill develops through repetition, not constant excitement. Focus on consistency because small daily effort compounds more effectively than occasional bursts of intensity. So why is there always an Asian kid better than you? Because somewhere, someone has practiced longer, focused deeper, and followed a system more consistently. Not because they are special, but because their environment made discipline normal. The advantage is not tied to identity. It comes from understanding that excellence is trained, not given,